welcome back to another episode of Late Entry, your favorite or soon to be favorite place for the hottest sports news, wildest viral topics, and conversations guaranteed to make you laugh. We are joined by RBF Kyle,
How we doing?
the return of Drip Guy Woo,
Hey, what's good?
and we got Buckler.
Howdy, y'all.
Did you
Bro,
just say
Toph
howdy?
heard we were gonna be missing him for some months, and he's like, "Nah, give me one episode."
The
This is when I
return.
came back.
Did you say howdy, Buck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that's what I heard.
We in the Midwest, we're good.
The Midwest. That's the place for howdies?
Yeah.
For here, yeah.
Anyways, tonight we've got some finals conversations. We've got a little debate over NBA superstars, and the Knicks can't find a coach to save their life. So we're going to get into that. If you're not already subscribed to us, please don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a like, comment. Let us know what you think. If we beg Drip Guy Woo, we might get him for some more episodes.
Maybe.
We got to keep bribing him.
Yep.
But yeah, the Pacers win Game 3 at home. We got ourselves a series. Pacers up 2-1 right now. And before we get into that, I'm kind of feeling like I was watching this last night. I'm curious what you guys think about this. This final series is almost reminding me of like March Madness. And here's why. People like March Madness for the unpredictableness of it and the hard hoops and hearing about new players coming to the scene that you've never heard of before. This series has all three. We're getting elite hoops from both fucking teams. Who the fuck has ever heard of Mathurin? Like before this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you go back to October and tell me that you fucking knew who Mathurin was. You know what I mean? This dude was not a story up until now, and bro is balling out. And it's unpredictable. I mean, the Pacers are up 2-1 currently after everyone thinking that they were the Thunder were going to be the prohibitive runaway favorites. Do you guys feel where I'm coming from with this or not really?
I hear you because it's hard ball. It's very hard ball, and not that it's super physical, but everybody has to work for every basket. I mean, every three, everything is contested, and that's what you want. Like it's two good defenses, two sound offenses, and really like at all times, like all five men for the most part are working together on the court. I'll try to break these voice cracks eventually. I might become voice crack Kyle pretty soon. But no, I think this has been a really hard fought series. I obviously predicted the Pacers to win it, but not obvious. But yeah, I mean, I think that they've just played better team ball so far and just have shown that they don't like. I was kind of waiting for OKC to kind of mount something in the fourth there, kind of like the Pacers did in game one and make it. And I mean, it was a nail biter kind of, but 8 points with a minute left, and it really felt like it was over. And you can't say that for the Pacers because they've broken that a couple times this play in the playoffs with a minute left. And so I don't know. I think they're the difference when it comes down to the stretch, that they're just going to play harder for each other. But both teams playing hard. I agree. It's like it almost feels like everybody's playing to make it to the league, but they're already at the highest spot you can be at in the league. So it's good for basketball, I think. And I will say, like, it is probably boring to some people because there's no superstar taking over necessarily every single game. And like you said, there's so much unpredictableness that, like, there's some NBA fans, and I mean, I've seen it on Twitter and YouTube, that are just like, oh, I don't even want to watch, or, they're making memes and funny skit videos as to why they're not watching this series. And yeah, I think they're missing out. It's been a good series.
Toph?
First of all, we got to dial it back. I'm not going to sit there and stand for the Benedict Mathurin slander. He was a lottery pick, 6th overall pick. So if you're a basketball aficionado like myself, we knew about Benedict Mathurin before, this playoff series.
Can you tell me who?
Sorry about that, Ben.
Can you tell me who was talking about him in October and November and December?
Four nice guys. Numbers on the Board podcast. We know about them for a long time. So if you're tuned in, you know about it. So,
This man
not,
just trying to pull
saying,
my hoops card on me. All right, bro.
Yeah, I had to. He's a lottery pick.
Yeah, it
Granted,
wasn't
lottery picks don't
Jason
pan out,
Tatum or the Cavs or anything like that. It was Benedict Mathurin that we were talking about.
and all those guys sitting at home right now. So anyway, I'm surprised because just a couple episodes ago, I probably said Thunder in 4, no more than 5. That ain't gonna happen no more. The Pacers are an interesting team. Because most teams in the playoffs, you're trying to get, a big 3 or at least a big 2. The Pacers don't really have your traditional big 2, big 3. They got a bunch of role players, maybe a budding superstar, but in terms of our definitions, that team does not have a true superstar. It's just, a good core of probably 7 to 9, teammates that just play the ball really well together. They pretty much kept their same team for the past couple of years, except for, a couple of new draft picks and Spicy P being added to that team. They're kind of just like Olympic ball. They just played together for so long. They could just have good team chemistry. And all those guys ride or die for each other. They're never free of the moment. So a team that, basically everybody said are frauds. They shouldn't be here. They got match against teams that, had injured players. They're just out there trying to prove, everybody wrong. They're fighting for their namesake. So you got to give respect to them and the Pacers.
This motherfucker Toph came back just to fucking shit on me this episode, apparently. I know, bro. I know I called them frauds a while back.
He told his rivals team, hey, we can't prac you tonight. He's like, I gotta roast somebody.
I gotta fucking go talk shit to Spence. I've been said that I took it back.
I got to scream tonight.
I took that back a while back. I don't know if you remember. I told you that if they won game 3, I was taking them in 7.
That's why I just had to, say my own part as well, too.
But
all right. How do you say his name? Mathurin? Is that how you say it? I want to get it right.
Mathurin.
Yeah, that's my fucking point. That's my point. She doesn't gotta fucking look up how to say Jason Tatum.
Well, hold up. I just pulled it up. Okay. Mathurin has been in the league since 2022-2023 season. Okay? Austin Reeves has been in the league since 2021 to 2022. That was his first year, his first season. They basically have the same averages. Okay. So you wanted to tell me all year that Austin Reeves was this big name, and yes, he was a starter, and yes, he was on a bigger market. They have the same averages.
Can I respond?
I'll sit there and say I didn't know Benedict Mathurin either. I don't pay attention to every single person's name on each team. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know about him either. But I will say I'm looking at it right now. They 14.5 all-time average for Austin Reeves, 15.9 on Mathurin. He's got 1 year less.
The Lakers wish they had Benedict Mathurin right now. Maybe they would just still be playing.
What's the point to this though, Buck? Is this an Austin Reeves conversation? Or are you saying that you know who Mathurin was?
My point being, well, first of all, the Pacers played a great game because they played team basketball, and I guess that's the point. Everybody is searching, like Toe said, everybody is searching for this traditional superstar, big 2, big 3, when it's not a necessity to win. And I think when you take in consideration that, yeah, you might not have known his name, and he was in a small market team, he's still playing relatively, stat line wise, to the same caliber as somebody that you've been propping up as part of a big 3 all year. So how do you say that people shouldn't have been talking or weren't talking to him back in October? They probably should have been, but they were talking about Austin Reeves and they were talking about the Lakers.
This feels to me
like... you're trying to say that Stephon Diggs was put on by Cardi B, bro.
What? This whole thing feels like that fucking tweet where it's like Twitter's the only place where you can get completely misinterpreted. You can say I like waffles and people are like, so why fuck pancakes? That's what's happening right now.
Absolutely.
Let me.
Benedict Mathurin. Benedict Mathurin is a good bench player who's been around for a minute here and is making a name for himself. And he just showed it on the biggest stage while Austin Reeves is sitting at home.
Can I say a few
And I'm not
things?
trying to compare just Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves is also a very good player. But
No,
that's
that was
you've
a
been
hilarious pull.
a thorn in my side about that all season. I just thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, the Pacers had a great game, and OKC was lazy.
Okay, let me say I think 3 things. First of all, Buck, you weren't here. I had to come on fucking camera already and eat a lot of crow about Austin fucking Reeves. He played like shit against the Timberwolves, and I had to come out here and admit that already. The second thing is that I never fucking said that Mathurin was a nobody. What I said, and let me rephrase this again, or restate this again, what I said that what's cool about this finals, similarly to a March Madness, is that players that are not household names are getting to introduce themselves to the average NBA fan. So somebody that's sitting at home every day, watching First Take, hearing about the Lakers and the Cavs and the Thunder, you know what I mean? And somebody that's fucking tuning in, watching big games with big stars, who isn't tuning in to watch your everyday fucking Pacers fan, they're now all at the same time finding out about Benedict Mathurin. When did I call this man a scrub? What the fuck? I'm saying,
No, yeah.
Nobody.
Bro,
once again, it wasn't your words. It was the way you said it, man. You got to be a little more positive with these guys.
Yeah.
I'm giving it props. I started this motherfucker off by saying this is so cool. This has the vibe of a tournament that everyone tunes in for reasons like
I know, but
this.
what you said was 2 months ago, who the fuck was Mathurin?
No
like,
one
you were
knew
like, who the fuck is this guy?
I don't think you can say nobody.
Buck just said that she had never even heard of him before, but she's only bringing this up to slander on 3.
No, I'm here.
Nah, you had a point.
You. But anyway, I mean, it doesn't matter. I agree with you. I think it's great. I think it's a great series for people who sit there and only watch All Stars.
Isn't that my point? Isn't that my fucking point?
No,
I'm so happy I got 2 other co-hosts with 2 screens ready to call Spencer on anything at any time. This is so much
We're all in fucking agreement.
I just love that she called out Austin Reeves after you were such a truther for so long. You deserve a couple of episodes of hate for how much you praised his ass.
Hold on. Wait. Let me finish responding to the bullshit before you fucking let me finish this. The third thing is that I said last episode that this is exactly what, or last episode of the episode before, this is exactly what the league wants as they moved into this fucking second apron fucking whole situation. They want good team ball, and the Pacers have a deep team full of fucking nobodies that can hoop. The whole fucking roster can hoop, dog. TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, fucking Mathurin. The motherfucking starters come out and the bench comes in and they keep swinging back. The whole team is full of dogs from the whole fucking roster, which is what the league wants. Which is my fucking point that this shit is cool that we're seeing guys that no one's fucking heard of before.
Nobodies though.
These niggas aren't.
Yeah, the nobodies.
Bro, how about we just call them role players? I think nobodies is a bit harsh. Yeah, let's not say nobodies.
Game after game, people are coming on TV and talking to a national fucking audience saying, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mathurin. My name is TJ McConnell. My name is Obi Toppin. My name is Nate Smith. My name is Nemhard. And I'm just saying that your casual fan doesn't know who these guys are, but they are knowing who they are now. My last fucking point to this whole situation, and I'm going to keep this quick because this is not an Austin Reeves topic.
So are you calling yourself a casual fan?
Kind of.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know the fucking 7th man on the roster for the Indiana Pacers. And you're not going to make me feel bad about that. Yeah, if that's what that turns into for you, then go ahead and say that. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to fucking know who the fucking 7th, 8th, 9th man on the fucking Pacers roster was before this fucking playoffs. Floor is yours.
Well, I mean, 7th, 8th, 9th players could be starters on some teams, so.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing that. I also don't know if we can say that definitively that outside of this system that all of those players would be as good either. Rick Carlisle definitely deserves credit for this.
Yeah. Yes. I agree. But that's team basketball.
Yes. Yes,
team
that
basketball.
they're literally the example of what the league is trying to build with this whole apron situation. We're not going to have three superstars team up and try to make the Heatles and dominate the league. You're going to need a deep ass team to be able to fucking play and run through this because all the teams that aren't as deep are sitting at home right now.
Yeah.
So that being said, I guess does that mean that? I mean, Halliburton. How old is Halliburton right now? Does anybody know offhand?
It's probably like
20.
28.
Oh, I
So
was gonna
probably
say
like that
26,
25,
27.
28 range.
So he's got like 4 or 5 at least more years in his prime. But
Oh
given
yeah,
how the league's going, he might even have 7 or 8, barring any serious
Oh, he's
injury.
25.
So
25.
so
Okay.
there you go. I
Hey,
mean,
my
to
bad, Hallie.
me, yeah, I don't think he's a superstar yet, but given that this is the league mold and that they have shown that they're trying to keep him around and keep him a pacer and doesn't seem like he wants to go anywhere and he believes in Indiana. Um, I mean, I would say rising star, I know they have the rising stars game where they bring in all the good rookies and stuff, but like he is a true rising star because if he just hones in and like gets a little more consistent, what like what's stopping him? I mean, he's in a great system. There's no signs of that slowing down. And if you keep building around a player like that, that is cool, kind of giving up the spotlight sometimes, is never going to have a big ego. And like somebody who would be a superstar right now, probably we talked about this off air, but when he said, "You don't know ball," he probably would have said, "You don't know me." He would have been all about himself, but he went about, "You don't know ball, you don't know our team, and you don't know what we're about," and so he believes in that system, and I don't know. I could see him. He's clutch as all can be. So I could see him. I don't know. It could go Jimmy Butler or it could go Steph Curry within the next 4 years.
I mean, I don't know. I don't love that take just given the fact that we've all talked about how it's the whole team chipping in. So if you start
Yeah.
taking pieces out of that, especially if you win a championship, you got to start paying people.
No,
Like
but
everybody chipping in.
even when he's not scoring, he's getting hella assists. He's getting hella rebounds. He's still a team player. It's not like he's having bad basketball games. He just sucks at shooting sometimes.
Well,
And I guess we
I'm
talked
not.
about that
I'm
with
not
Ben
saying.
Simmons.
I'm not saying that. What I'm
But
saying is that we're talking about how in order to win these games, they're getting contributions from the 7, 8, 9 man on the roster.
right.
If you lose some of those guys to other teams, you lose a Mathurin, you lose Obi Toppin, you lose a TJ McConnell, stuff like that, you're losing some of what's making this team work. And so even I don't Halliburton hasn't
But
displayed so far that he's got that like Superman, let me put my cape on
Yes.
and carry you
Correct.
there. He
Yeah.
needs everybody else to do their part
I
too.
agree with that.
No, and to that point, I will say, like, personally, watching the first quarter, it didn't seem like he was in rhythm. Although he did seem like he was playing less jittery than the game one and game two. But it really wasn't until TJ McConnell came out in the second quarter, ran around like a chicken with his motherfucking head cut off. Okay, ain't nobody. And you know what? Every time TJ McConnell made a little mistake, he made up for it. He was hustling down the court. He wasn't hanging his head. He wasn't screaming at the refs. He was getting back to work. Now they take him out. I think it was right before halftime, or maybe I'm thinking of the start of the third quarter. Either way, Tyrese Halliburton comes in, and different player. It seemed like he was all over the floor. Then he was playing harder defense. He was playing more what I like to refer to as like annoying defense, where your hands are all over the place. You're just being a freaking nuisance all the fucking time. It wears them down. And I mean, you could see it. It was like the fourth quarter. There's still 6 minutes left, and half the Thunders got their hands on their knees. I mean, it wore them down. But he didn't come out playing like that. It wasn't until TJ McConnell came out and played like that for a significant amount of time. I think it was at least 5 minutes, maybe even 6 minutes. I mean, he got important minutes, and they won the hell out of that second quarter. And if you look at his stat line, I think he had 22 points to end out the game. And really, that wasn't the story. For me, it wasn't. I mean, a lot of people talk about that. Oh, he had a great shooting game. He's back to what they need him to be to win the series. I mean, great. You were shooting the ball a little bit better, but it really was more them finding the correct matchup for the shot that they wanted. They were giving Siakam had a really good game. He was getting really good mid-range shots off on either mismatches or just really good matchups and wearing them down both offensively and defensively. It seems to me that, and I just like watching this type of basketball better, to be honest with you. The isolation shit pisses me off because it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. I mean, you can win, but you're not going to win forever doing that. And I think this is just proving that. And I think it's boring to a lot of people who were spoiled with Steph Curry in 2016 and LeBron James in 2016, and with all those really good series with, pitting star against star, you know what I mean? And you have that really exciting series going on for multiple years, and it creates this rivalry. It creates a lot of discourse. When KD went to the Warriors, it was then, oh, you need another man to beat LeBron. You know what I mean? It was all this stuff, and it was all about the superstars. Now you're seeing it's all about the team.
Right.
It's about the TJ McConnells. It's about the Benedict Mathurins. It's about Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin only had 8 points, but Obi Toppin played a really fucking phenomenal second half. You know what I mean? He had a few mistakes, but none of them were hanging their head. They were getting their ass back on defense. Obi Toppin is always hustling down the floor to trail on the transition balls. I mean, they're playing fantastic team basketball. And the Thunder are probably a little bit more talented overall. And if they would just,
100%.
if they would show up, play their game, and not, they turned the ball over, 17 times, and I think 4 of them were on inbounds passes right to TJ McConnell or to somebody else. Those are just lazy. You're not paying attention. You think that, SGA is just going to take it up the floor and make every shot and make every layup or get fouled and get to the free throw line, and you're going to be bailed out that way. That doesn't happen in the finals. And it doesn't happen against a team like the Pacers.
And I think that's feeding right into our point of like that's where the league is heading is team first ball, but that doesn't mean that there won't be people that are super like and early LeBron years, like Varejao would be carrying him in the second quarter, and then LeBron comes back from the bench and LeBron's playing that much harder and he goes for 15 straight. And so like I completely agree with you, but I think that it does like it takes a team of role players around that really good player to kind of light that fire under him. And that's what McConnell was. That's what all of these guys are. Like they make Halliburton want to play his best. Even when he's not shooting well, he's going to find them open because he trusts them as much as he trusts himself to make the shot, if not more when he's having an off night.
Right.
And I think that to me, like that's the intangibles of what a superstar is going to be in the NBA. Do I think that he's going to necessarily be called a superstar? No. I think he has a lot of work to do in that retrospect, but I don't think it necessarily means he needs to play iso ball and he needs to be the show. He needs to make his teammates look good and also come in clutch in the clutch moments. And I think that's what the clutch part and making his teammates look good is what he's doing. He's just got to be a little more consistent.
Toph, you have anything to add?
Yeah, really quick. Because I kind of noticed this myself as well too, and maybe a lot of other people just probably haven't fully grasped because we're not used to it. Let's compare SGA and Halliburton, 2 vastly different point guards. Halliburton is more of a traditional point guard, so we're kind of asking him to take over the game. That's not who he is. He's never been that kind of person.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of games where he's got 20 points, 20 assists. He can, he can't give you every game, but you've seen the game when he had 30 points. You can't expect that out of him on a nightly basis. Where SGA's standpoint is, I'm going to go get 30. It may be inefficient. I'm going to free throw line, but I feel like we can't always, expect Halliburton to have these crazy 30-point games to just match SGA. That's not who he is. He's just a more traditional point guard. We're kind of getting, away from that mold when you get, spoiled by the Steph Currys, the Damian Lillards, Trae Youngs. People are just always getting 30 points, for that person to be, effective, they have to do that. Halliburton doesn't have to do that. Where we've seen, them at their best is when the whole team plays well. Maybe Spicy P will be your top scorer. You might have a Aaron Nesmith or Benedict Matherin have, give you 15 to 20 points off the bench. I think that's from the best, when all 5 starters are in double-digit points. And that turned the ball over. So I think it's just something we just have to, realize out of Halliburton's game. He might get you the occasional 30-point game, but you can't expect that on a night-to-night basis. He likes to get his whole team involved and play real basketball, kind of like what Buck was saying.
Yeah, and fun fact, I wrote this down because I thought this was absolutely crazy. To that point of all 5 starters being in double digits. This last game, no other starter other than Pascal Siakam and Halliburton had double digits. No other starter went into double digits, but they had 2 bench players go into double digits and 49 total bench points to the Thunder's 18.
Yeah, they're deep, and they're deep. They're the example of a full team ball, not any one player being like more important than the other ones. I would say.
And I feel like consistently people are trying to put them in a box that they just do not belong. Like Toph was saying.
2 things. One, just a fun fact. I'm not sure if you guys don't know this or anyone watching us. Through 3 games, Halliburton has attempted 0 free throws. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
But that's that not isolation shit. If you're not always taking the ball up and going one-on-one and trying to make it to the basket, that's not what he's doing. That's not the goal. The goal is to play the defense that they're shown, and what they're shown is really good defense, so they're going to pass the ball and find the open guy, find the open matchup.
So
it is still
and shout out him not having the ego, because he didn't carry the team here, but like he's been the face of the team for years now, and for him to be at the biggest stage and to not be like I mean, there are moments where he, like we've seen, where he's like, I need to step up, but for him to be like, it's up to us, like I trust the system, like shout out to him for staying the course.
Yeah. I think we've kind of all given different reasons, especially Toph, what you were just talking about what his game is and trying to box him into something else. I think that we're all making cases for why I don't think that he's ever going to be a superstar. I think that, all stars going to be his ceiling with that. And that kind of leads us into our next point. So Magic Johnson was on First Take today, and Stephen A asked him what his definition of a superstar is. And so I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said that it's somebody that sells out arenas everywhere he goes. Wherever you're at, everyone has to see him. Either that or you're rushing home to catch this player on TV. And so he listed a few. He listed, MJ. I think he said Kevin Durant, Kobe, a few other ones. Superstars, people that you absolutely have to see, that you're, throw out the rest of the schedule. This person's playing tonight. I'm right here to watch it. And so I know Toph and I have kind of already given ours on a previous episode. I want to kind of let Buck and then Kyle, you guys get in here first, and then we'll respond to you guys about your thoughts on what a superstar is in the NBA.
Yeah, this one's kind of a hard one for me. I think there's definitely different tiers to superstars for sure. I think if you're talking about
stars or superstars, because we're just talking about superstars.
Yeah, I think if you're just talking superstar, I think it just, what does that mean to you is gonna, I think it's all opinion based, but I think, in my opinion, there's a difference between a superstar and a face of the league. I think, in my opinion, what Magic was talking about would be kind of more or less, your megastar, your face of the league kind of thing. Now, agree that, a lot of the names that he had listed, some of them were overlapping names, you know what I mean? So that could kind of, go against my argument. But that's just my opinion. I think, a superstar is, anybody who is, I think you've got to have your kind of your accolades, your all NBAs or your, all of that crap. But I think the biggest thing for me is, can you take your team, through the playoffs? How many are you doing it on and off? And are you selling out? I do think that that's a big part of it. I think, are you selling out both at home, both away, or is your jersey just selling out the fucking window? Can't keep them in stock type of stuff. That, I think, to me is the superstar. But I think the superstar is based on what the fans feel. It's not necessarily about what happens on the court, although they go hand in hand. I think Tyrese Halliburton could be a superstar, but just not in this league with everybody loving the isolation and everybody wanting their superstars to score 30 points, have the triple-double, be the face of the game. But I think, like Toph was saying earlier, a true point guard is more of a facilitator, is more of a what do they call it? Floor general. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So at his position, I think he could be. I don't think he is now, but I think he could be
So before
Yeah.
Kyle, before you go, I just want to say like there's there are like you're talking about tiers because there are still like like a rising star, a star, and like a perennial all star all underneath of a superstar. So does that change your opinion of superstar still, or that's still the
How
same?
many fucking levels is fucking Jesus? Are we in Inception? Like how many levels are there? Give me your chart here. Give me the flow chart. I need the
Like
full.
you're basically saying like nationally
So you're saying
acclaimed, right? Like
there's the rising
the issue with national. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh
star.
man.
What next? What
We
did you
got
say then?
perennial star.
Okay, and then what was the next one?
I think then it was superstar.
Superstar.
There was 4 levels. I think.
And then there was another one.
There were 4 tiers to that shit.
A rising star, a star, a perennial all star, and a superstar.
So superstar
I mean,
is the highest level you're giving in this argument. In this
generational talent
thing.
I don't think it's just me who's making these definitions.
People like Alex Caruso, he's
like,
a superstar.
Okay, wait.
Right?
Okay, I'm not saying you. But like we're saying an all-star is top tier. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top of the top. Cream of the crop.
And I was making sure that your definition that you were just giving was for a superstar and not like a perennial all-star or an all-star.
Okay.
So I guess I mean I think as a whole, as social media grows, as all of the consumer talk grows amongst sports, it's going to be so easy for like, to me, like Jared Goff is a superstar, but Jared Goff isn't a superstar. I know that in my heart. Like he's not a superstar yet. Like, but to me, he is, because he's put up these numbers, and I'm a Detroiter, and he's the face of our franchise. So like he's a freaking superstar. If you ask anybody in Indiana right now, is Tyrese Halliburton a superstar? They're like, hell yeah. I'm rocking number 0 under my freaking, like I'm wearing it to bed every night, and I haven't washed it. Like, because I love this man. Like there's so much love for so many different athletes. I don't think it's I don't know. I think it's become glossed over, I suppose. Like that term, superstar Justin Herbert. It's like, what has Justin Herbert done past week 17? Like, sorry, Toph. I genuinely, it wasn't even just because you're here. It was just the person that came to my head. I love you, bro. Top 13. Anyways, I think we take that shit so seriously because, I mean, there's fantasy sports now too. So it's like, yeah, Baker Mayfield got me 40 points a game last year. Like, why wouldn't I say he's going to be top 5 in 2 years? I don't know shit about football anyways. Like, let me throw that up in the air.
You look so disappointed right now in both of them.
Buck, you missed it. You weren't here. I did that as a hot take for fun, just to see these guys' faces. And to get the internet reaction, which we did a little bit. Thank you all for your comments. I don't know. I think superstar is such a loose term, and I love playing with it. Okay, hold up, pause. Shit.
You heard it here.
You're doing a really good job on this.
You heard it here first.
I don't. I kind of agree with what Toph said about there's probably like 8 to 10 max. When you guys like got into the nitty gritty, it was like maybe 10 superstars max. There's like, and I wouldn't even say that, because like, who are we going to be talking about in the next 20 years? I mean, like, is Tracy McGrady a superstar? No chips?
Absolutely not.
Exactly, but we talk about him. He's a generational talent. He's one of the most skilled people to play the game. So it's such a fine line. I don't even want to get into it too much, I guess.
Toph, you want to go or you want me to go?
No, I'll go ahead and go first.
Please let them know.
Kind of like what Buck was saying.
I was agreeing with you guys.
No, you were. But she kind of said the word I was looking for first. You got your megastars. So like I said, my tier is a little bit different. You got 2 megastars. That's
So now there's a new tier. Hold on, Buck. There's a new
Okay,
tier.
so I need
There's
to-
mega stars
no,
above
I need to adjust the
superstars.
graph.
Megastars and superstars are the
she
same thing,
did say-
right?
No.
Okay,
no,
so
no,
we have
no, they're not.
mega, starting with mega
Yep.
stars. Okay,
Oh
what's
my
next?
god! I think
I'm
Superstar.
taking notes.
Superstar.
This is going so deep.
Then you got your all stars. I don't care about no rising star because rising star should be an all star. If we're doing, our God, I hate this, but NBA All Star Weekend, we got this weak ass draft that we always do every single year. But I think Jokic was the last pick one year. It's basically just a popularity thing in there. So all these all stars, they're just all stars. I'm not putting Trae Young as a superstar. Not gonna happen. You have Drew Holiday in there. I don't think any of us say Drew Holiday is a superstar. Maybe on defense, but not as an overall player. So like I said, for me and my ranking, you got your mega stars, LeBron and Steph. No one's even close to that level. It's kind of like your face of the leagues. They got the most product. They're selling the shoes. They're kind of. I think everyone would say they must see TV. Then you got your superstars. That'll be like the KDs. I know those kind of level of players in there. They got the accomplishments. Like I said, I just don't think correct me if I'm wrong. That in popularity, I don't think they're better than Steph Curry and LeBron. Like I said, I only got 3 tiers. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I think you got your face of the leagues, then you got your next people up, your superstars, and then you got your all stars. I'm not counting a rising star as an all star or anything like that until they get to that point.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
To me, and what I think that a large majority of at least sports media considers, I would say that superstar is interchangeable with your megastar. So your tiers would be like a superstar, your consistent perennial all stars. You switch those words out, but reoccurring stars. Then like every year you know that they're going to be stars. Then you've got all stars. Then you've got stars, just regular stars. I would say that like a Halliburton is probably
regular stars, not gold stars.
No silver stars.
Platinum.
Bronze.
This is going to be the last episode of Late Entry. Halliburton to me would be somewhere in between like a rising star and a star. Like he's there, but he's not all the way in there yet.
Yeah,
if you've got, you think that he's better than that?
No, I think
he's
it's
an all-star.
crazy that you're like star, the rising star, all star.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's vaguely like when you're a kid and you're like in well, I didn't do Boy Scouts, so like Girl Scouts, you had little badges and you're like a brownie, and then you move up and you're something else.
Each grade, you go up a level.
But that's how the shit works, though. Like everybody's not on the same tier. There's very clearly tiers of stars in the league.
Right. I agree with that. Yeah.
So then, what are you clowning me over? Like, I guess I'm missing this.
It's just a lot of tiers we've got going on here.
It's the superstar one.
But it's opinion. It's all opinion. It's based on what you think. I think I'm in the realm of like you have dog shit, role players, and then you have all stars, superstars, if you want to call them, and megastars.
So there's nothing between role player and all star to you?
I mean,
they're not a star; they're just a role player.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not an all star, you are a role player, aren't you?
No,
I would say.
No, I mean you got
give
bench
me an
warmer.
Give me an example of not an all star, but not a role player.
Oh, run that back one more time.
Give me an example of somebody who is not an all star, but not a role player.
Someone who's not an all star,
but they get consistent minutes. Like they're not a bench warmer either. Like they get consistent minutes and they actually like produce stats. I
mean, I understand what you're saying, but like I think it depends team to team as well too.
Yeah, it definitely depends team to team. I think that the third person of a quote unquote big three is usually somebody that's not an all star, but is also not a role player. 2016 Kevin Love.
That wasn't a big three.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
To make that trade to get Kevin Love to bring together, yes. They gave up Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love. You're not
Yeah, I
making
mean,
that
he had
move
a
for
good.
just
I get.
a
I
role
suppose
player.
for like half a season, it was a big three, sure, but I wouldn't like it wasn't Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade and LeBron. It wasn't Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and KG. That's totally different.
That was their version, though.
I would say Evan Mobley, not an all-star, not a role player. Drew Holiday on Drew.
Mobley's not an all-star? I forgot. This is your rankings. Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. Good point.
So you guys truly believe it's like either you're just a person that fucking just chips in here and there, or you're a star.
I mean, all star is a
wanna point out-
popularity
I just wanna point
contest
out-
too.
I just want
I
to
mean,
point
technically,
out.
if we're calling all-stars, if you make the all-star,
That's what
NBA
I was about to
All-Star,
say.
you're an
Kevin Love
all-star.
is a 5-time
That's
all-star.
what it is by definition.
Yes, but I said 2016 Kevin Love. I didn't say Minnesota Kevin Love. That's kind of the point that
I understand what you're saying.
The role that you.
2016.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty sure he still made an
So
all-star.
they
That's
rank.
also
He had
why
a good.
I'm. That's
he
also.
had a good playoffs.
That's also why I'm separating. There's difference between stars and all stars.
We're getting way too nuanced, I think.
I think so.
This is crazy. I think that it's.
I think we all agree about the superstar level. I think that's where we all agree that like it's the best of the best. It's like Kobe, Shaq, Tim Duncan, Dirk, like LeBron. I wouldn't even put I was about to put D Wade in there, but I wouldn't even put him in there.
See, that's the
he was
thing
an
I got
he was
with
a
the
perennial
superstar.
all-star.
If you put LeBron with those guys, they're two different tier players.
I agree.
You got to separate them. That's my biggest thing. That's why you got to have the megas, and then you got those guys. You can't put them in the same tier.
I think that the only
that's where it gets mixed up.
The only difference I think between what you guys are saying and I think the rest of the fucking world is that the megas are called superstars and that the fucking other people underneath are perennial all-stars. You have somebody that's just made an all-star maybe once or twice. That's just a star. Your perennial all-stars are going to be all-stars every single year. And then right above that is the superstar, who's the fucking LeBrons, the KDs, the Stephs. I think that's the only difference from what we're saying. Like, you guys are killing me over the wording of it. I think that's how most people view it. Is like a star is like once or twice. Then you get in a superstar when you've been an all-star every single year.
Yeah.
You get where I'm coming from?
I hear you.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but like I said, that standpoint, like if you make an all-star 2 times, then you never make it again. Like I said,
you're a
of
star.
course, the person gets knocked down. Yes, like I'm saying, like when you said Evan Mobley, I mean, defensive player of the year. I'm never gonna not get me some Mobley ones if they ever come out. It's just it doesn't have the market as like your face of the league. So like I said, my ranking, you got your face of the leagues, superstar, then all-star. I don't think we need to get into star.
You don't think that there's
star.
a difference between an Evan Mobley and a Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? That's the difference between a star and a superstar. That's the difference between a star and a star and an all-star, right there. That right there is exactly it.
Nope.
Well, yeah, we haven't seen enough on Mobley yet. Yeah,
I've seen enough.
I'm just saying that's
I'm taking Mobley over all those two guys right now. PG just want to do podcasts with them damn knees.
I'm talking about.
Kawhi Leonard
I'm not talking about right this second. I'm talking about their careers. They are perennial all-stars. They're all-stars, not stars.
Yes.
Right. Not no more. You got to update your resume.
That's not what I'm talking about, dude. Oh my
Keep going, though.
He said, no more.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I think we're ranking up and you're ranking down. So we're saying we're adding another one up at the top and you're adding one
down low. Yeah.
You're saying star. What was it again? I had it written down.
All-star, all-star, superstar,
role player, bench player, water boy, all that.
Buck, tell us about fucking the Knicks can't hire a fucking coach before I kill myself.
The Knicks ain't got no idea what the fuck is going on. First of all, I'm mad at them for firing Tibbs. I understand if you thought that, he could have taken you a little bit farther and that it was something that he did, chemistry, team chemistry, whatever it was, coaching style, whatever. But you have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically 6 denials for now head coaching positions. So he had, I guess it looks like 5 active coaches. So Jason Kidd, Chris Finch, Billy Donovan. I'm not gonna butcher his name. How do you say the Rockets coach name?
Ime Udoka.
Okay, Ime. They also asked him. They got denied there. There was, in the article I read, they did not mention Quinn Snyder, but Shams tweeted out that they asked Quinn Snyder of the Hawks too. I'm sorry, but just the one that kills me on this is like, you fired Tibbs and thought Billy Donovan was the fucking answer?
Yeah, that's dumb.
That's dumb. They also have asked the former Villanova coach, Jay Wright, and also got denied there. He also said, nah, fam.
I can't understand why they think that any of these teams that have been playoff teams, the Rockets were in the playoffs, the Hawks were a fringe playoff team, the Mavericks just got fucking Cooper Flagg to add to Kyrie and Anthony Davis and Klay Thompson, and you thought that any of these teams are just going to be like, sure, you can have our fucking coach.
Yeah. And you know what? Why did you fire your coach and not have a plan?
Well, their plan apparently was just thinking that they could just walk into these other teams and go shopping.
Yeah.
And all of that.
Look, we got Cat, we got Brunson.
Yep.
And we got no first round picks. Come here.
Money.
And
yeah.
Well, it's not even about that. The teams aren't even allowing the coaches to have the meeting with them, which they have to do. Which is the stupid part about it. Is this? It's like me just showing up at one of you guys' houses and being like, I like this couch. Can I have it? And you're like, no. I need my couch. What? Like you know what I mean? That's what the fuck is happening here. And what's crazy is we talked about this when they fired Tibbs. Tibbs was one of the key pieces of making the Knicks relevant again for the first time in years. And you fired him, and within the same offseason have gone straight back into fucking chaos. No one's got a plan. No one knows what the fuck we're doing. We're just fucking calling anybody like, hey, can I have your coach? This is like, I'm going to do that to you guys during fucking fantasy football season next year. I'm going to call you. Can I have your star player? Can I have your quarterback? Like, you should just give him to me because I'm the Knicks.
Literally.
It shit doesn't make any sense.
I heard that I probably got sent out, but I heard that the Knicks were in KD's DMs too. So they really don't know what they're doing if they're trying to go for him.
Goodness gracious. All right, let's wrap this up with funny posts. And I'm gonna hit mine first because they relate directly to this. At HMFAIGEN. If Rick Carlisle keeps this up, the Knicks might just ask to interview him. And then at 3_Cone. If you're employed and get a call from a random New York number, there's a 70% chance you could be getting the call to be the Knicks head coach.
That's hilarious.
Oh shit!
That is hilarious.
Buck, what you got for us?
I'll go next because mine's topical. Hopefully, I can.
Yep.
Hopefully, I can share my screen a little faster this time.
Oh god, I have mine on deck just in case.
All right, y'all ready?
Been ready.
It's a wild city, man. It's crazy that people like for real live here. I was just on the train and some dude, he was just yelling out shit. He was like, yo, fuck the new poop. Fuck black people. Fuck the Jews. Fuck everybody. And nobody did anything on the train. Everyone was just on their phone for hours. And then he said, and fuck the Knicks. And they beat the shit. The whole train ride. I was like, damn, that's all it took. Wild city, boy.
Fuck.
All right, I got at Kev on stage. The New York Knicks have requested permission to speak with Richmond High School head coach, Coach Carter, but were firmly denied.
Jeez. Everybody roasting the Knicks tonight. Jesus.
Oh my god.
The other one I thought was really funny was if I'm an active, or this one's at Steven_LeBron, lol. If I'm an active NBA coach, I would be crazy offended if the Knicks have not asked for permission to interview me.
Oh my god.
That's true.
Yeah, they're scrambling. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I have found out the punishment for the late entry fantasy league.
Oh god.
You got to be the Knicks head coach.
At Chuck F. Bass on Twitter. Loser of my next fantasy football league has to be the closer at the next Bonnie Blue networking event.
Shut the fuck up.
Let's get your obituary ready.
How'd you get a hold of my Twitter burn account, dude?
My god.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to us fucking argue for an hour. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you agree with any of these takes tonight. What your definition of a star is. And we will catch you next week. Peace.
Peace.